Elitom El-Amin, Breatharian. And today I'm talking about the Breatharian allowing through limitations. So when we say Breatharianism is an allowing, what does that mean? Now, first of all, you must remember that all physical matter has limitations. All physical matter. So that's why the ancients said that seek ye first the kingdom of God within. Within is where the power is at. Within is where the unlimited potential is at. However, when you go externally, all physical matter has limitations. So when you try to force yourself through things that are limited by its nature, you're going to come up short. So how do you get past this? There's a surrendering or a submission that one must go through. Because when things in the physical realm, the energy of it comes against you hard, when you fight back, it gets harder. But when you submit yourself, you submitting yourself to your higher self, the situation. See, you got to keep in mind, now this is deep now, that this life is designed to help you grow. The universe is user-friendly. So ain't no use to fight against the situation or the circumstance. Everything is predetermined. So when you submit yourself into it, your perception changes, and then that's when you learn and you grow, and the situation will dissolve itself, and you'll be able to go to the next level. But when you put pressure into the pressure, then that's when things become hard, and you go over it over and over and over again. That's why the scripture says, when I am weak, that's when I'm strong. Your strength is in the subtle powers of the universe. It's not the dense physical matter. See, even when you seek security and money, materialism, all physical matter has limitations. Because that's why you see people in different modes of what? Lifestyles, they're still run into limitations. Because again, no matter what you do, that's his nature. That's how it's designed. So therefore, a person could be filthy rich, have more money than you can shake a stick at, but they still run into the wall of limitations, and they have to submit to the subtle powers to be. So when you understand this lesson, look at your life, look at where you at, and look at your circumstance, look at the situation, and start moving like water, because that's how energy flows. And when you move down the stream of the water of life, you will go to the place of least resistance, because that is your nature of being a being of light. And then that's where you'll make it from level to level, to degree, to grow into the span in your consciousness. See, higher consciousness, you're living in it. This is what it is. It's this world we live in, this universe. It's all being created by what? The thought process that we're giving off. But again, it's a what? Illusion. But when you try to fight against the illusion will become real. But when you understand it's an illusion and you submit to the lesson of the illusion, that's when the illusion will dissolve. And let me tell you something about Breatharianism. You can't force your way into it. It is given to you by the higher powers. You understand? Your hunger will be taken. One day you won't feel like it, but that taken away is going to come from the higher subtle forces, because it knows the nature of your heart. It really knows you submitted. So you can talk to everybody else. That don't mean nothing. You can act hard, tough. You understand? I don't care how many yoga moves or techniques you do. You got to understand that it's a what? Intent of the heart. And the heart is the higher mind. And when that fully submits to the higher forces, that's when the levels and degrees will take place to move you forward into your true potential. Now let's go back into limitations. There's nothing wrong with limitations. Limitations were designed, you understand, for us to enjoy this realm. So you're always going to meet limitations. That's not the problem. It's how you go through your limitations. And you always go through your limitations through submission. All right, this is Elitom El-Amin, Breatharian. And what we want to talk about is Breatharian consciousness. Now keep in mind that your thoughts is a vehicle. Your thoughts is not you. So when you come on your Breatharian process, you must understand this. So that's why there's meditations to teach you how to just observe your thoughts. It's not about even thinking positive. They're not you, they're just a vehicle that you're using in this realm. Now, as you start observing the thoughts, there is a level of consciousness that exists that's above our regular thought process. Because your body matrix is hooked up to a thought process that's hooked up with the whole universe. That's why you're the macrocosm of the macrocosm. But your regular thought process that you've been educated with cannot comprehend this, and it will not, because it's trapped into the five senses. It only has a limited way of understanding. So that's why in spirituality they say you must what? Manifest or create a sixth sense, a sense of feeling. That's why the Buddha said, they asked him the question, what is going to become beyond the state of suffering? He said there's no words from it. You will find out on your own. Because as soon as you try to define it, you just set up expectation and put yourself back in duality of the thought process. That's why the Breatharian process is a feeling state. But the only way to experience this feeling state, first you must begin to just observe your thoughts and understand they are a vehicle and they are not you. Now in the scriptures, there's a story where Jacob wrestled with the angel at night. And when he wrestled and became victorious, he saw the face of God. Now what does that mean? He was wrestling with the angel of the Lord, which meant his thoughts. Your thoughts are very powerful, but keep in mind they are not you, they are just a vehicle. It's an entity within itself. So there's times in this circumstance of Maya, or the illusion that we live in, the negativity of circumstances of thought will come against you, or your thought process will seem like to be your enemy. But don't let it take you over and prevail. There's going to be those times you're going to have to stand up for yourself and go within to what? Battle against the angel of the Lord, which is your own thoughts, which is very powerful. But to wrestle with it ain't to take it on, because you can't defeat your thoughts like that. You must observe it, because when you observe it, you put it into its place, because it's like a cloud going through the sky. A cloud is going through the sky, but when you observe it, there's a clear sky in the background. Pretty soon that cloud is going to go through the sky, and then the clearness of the sky will be there again. You understand? So he wrestled with his thoughts at night. The angel of the Lord, the powerful thoughts. He observed them. And when he observed them and when they left, he was able to see the face of God, which is you, your true self, your higher nature that goes beyond your thought process. And that is the nourishment. That is the sustaining factor that gives you your power to bring you back into your self-consciousness. Now, a lot of people suffer from guilt, resentment. Now, guilt is things you've probably done in your past that you're guilty about, what you've done to others, things you knew that were wrong. But you ain't do it just because that's your nature. You did it because that was the level of consciousness you was at that time. It was understandable due to your preconditioning of thought. But as you kept living your life, you feel guilty now because you woke up to a degree where you understand that was wrong. So now that level of thought is what? Harming you. But you don't have to let it harm you, because you have to understand again that was the level of consciousness you was at that time. So again, you have to observe that thought to let it pass through you so that you can heal. Now, on the higher levels of consciousness, there is no right or wrong. You understand? That was just the level of consciousness you at. But since you did it, you did do it, there is suffering that takes place from it. So you have to go through those judgments of suffering that your thoughts brought about from your past. Nobody's arguing that. But when you get through it and understand that it is a lesson for you to learn not to do it again, that's when the brightness will come. The light will lighten up in your body, and again, that is nourishment on the breatharian path as you begin to clean up your light body, you understand? Because you will get there when you understand again that your thoughts is just a vehicle. Now dealing with resentment. Resentment is the things that people done to you. That you know they done it was wrong. They lied on you. They stole from you. They used your kindness for weakness. That's why Jesus said, forget them, for they know not what they do. In other words, yes, just because you're on a breatharian path, you are at a higher state of consciousness than people around you, don't mean that they ain't going to do things to you. And there's something that's in you that you want them to pay the price for it. They can't get away with this. So that's another level of resentment that's in you that's eating you up. But again, you got to understand that they did that because that was the level of consciousness they was at. So yeah, you're going to take some hits from other people's foolishness. But you can forgive them and turn the other cheek. Because again, just like a 2-year-old is going to act like a 2-year-old, but one day it will grow up. And that's their own level of thought that they will have to deal with. You just keep on growing. And that's going to make you grow up even more, you understand? To understand, to let the children forgive them for they know not what they do. You just keep on growing so that the higher level of consciousness, the breatharian consciousness, could come through to feed you and nourish you. Because keep in mind that the higher forces ain't going to let you go down, you understand, and let other people take you up out of here. Not when you're standing on what? The platform of righteousness. Not when you're standing in the light. So just hold on as you keep on growing into these levels and degrees of consciousness. So again, the breatharian consciousness goes way beyond eating or not eating. This is what? Getting past the levels of thought that is a vehicle so that you can hook up with the bigger matrix that you're hooked up with by your nature because you're the God force. And when you allow that to happen, that's when you'll be able to become humble and self-sustaining. And you become, again, the legendary tree of night. I hope you got a lot out of this. Love you. Keep up the good work as we keep on moving on and we go higher and higher in this level of consciousness.